that your
me and
family?
my family. Welcome to the Cohens.
Is that your family portrait?
Yes, this is my stepfather. He just beat my mom 2 days ago, but she put on makeup so she looks beautiful. And this is my sister. She's transgender.
The modern day family.
Yes. Okay. Here's the thing right now. I already feel so bad because you got a chakra rock thing and you look great. And
Thank you.
I look like I just came back from Skid Row. And that's not cool, dude. You didn't tell me this is a you gotta look good podcast.
No, you look great. What are you talking about?
Why did your voice go up so high just now when you said you look great? That's fucking
I just
bullshit,
have a high.
dude.
I have a high voice. No, you look great. Oh,
Does this make me look better?
it.
You know what? It makes me look like exactly where I belong, the alley. You know what? Go back to the white family. Wait, is this a serious podcast? I don't know. If it is, then I will be serious. You know what?
No.
Okay.
No, I wanted to. So basically, with this podcast,
Uh-huh.
I like to talk to people that inspire me, that go
Oh wait, inspired? Did you say? Okay, just kidding.
yeah, or like that go after their dreams and goals. I just recently met you at a comedy club and seen you a few times because you are, for those that don't know, a stand-up comic.
Stand-up comedian.
Yeah, and I thought you were hilarious. You made me
That's
laugh
really
so
nice.
much.
Thank
And
you.
then I started looking at your Instagram, and I realized we have quite a few things in common just with our upbringing. I saw
Like
that
what?
I see that you talk to your dad quite a bit, which I think is awesome.
The only 3 times I talked to him was through Instagram.
Oh yeah. And I was listening to one of the ones where you talked about them like hitting you growing up. Your parents were like, and then the teachers, and I kind of grew up in that way too, where we got punished and spanked and hit a lot. And and just the way that you were saying, like with school, that you weren't really that into school.
Yeah.
Same. Like I just felt like I would do things on purpose with friends to get kicked out because I had more fun sitting outside with them than in school. And I just like was tired of feeling like a failure all the time. So I'm like, well, then I'm going to choose to fail at this point.
Yeah.
And so I was like listening to that and I'm like, oh, I really want to have you on because first of all, I love that you're going after your dream of doing comedy. Because I know how hard it is. Like I've worked, we talked about this, like, I worked at all the comedy clubs doing photography and I've met a lot of comics and I know it takes a lot. It's like a huge commitment. And so I respect that. And then hearing like your upbringing, and my parents and I are like very close now, but growing up was really tough. 'Cause on one side of things, they were great and like also took us to Disneyland. I heard your dad say that we took you to Disneyland, like they would take us to Disneyland and we never wanted for anything and I got spoiled on holidays and all that. On the other hand, there was a lot of like with my mom especially, like hitting and spanking, and like that was a lot. And so finally at like 17 I had it and I was drunk. I came home from a party drunk and she was like trying to take my keys away and she hit me, so I hit her back and we go out and my dad's like, that's it, you're done, get out of our house, and like kicked me out at 17.
Have you talked about this on the pod?
I don't think I've ever said that. I've talked about getting like in a fight with my mom and getting kicked out, but I've never like said why. And that was obviously my bad. But after getting, like, I was also at the time in a really abusive relationship, so I felt like I was like getting hit at home, like not a lot, but like, like if I didn't do something right or I pissed my mom off, like she'd come like spanking or hitting or whatever. And then in my relationship that I got in when I was 16, he was abusive and I didn't know how to like tell anybody, which I have talked about on here before.
Oh,
And so I just felt like, which is why I started partying a lot and drinking a lot to try to escape. And I hated school and the whole thing. And so I think that day I had just had it, and I was so tired of like getting pushed around that I finally just hit back, you know?
did you give up on yourself when you said that you just didn't do good in school and you just choose not to? Was that like you giving up on yourself?
I wouldn't say like giving up on myself. I think I just had made a decision it was like
Fail
a
horribly.
survive, it was like a, yeah. I just, I think like in the moment, I didn't realize that's maybe what I was doing, but I just would do day to day, like what I had to do to graduate and get out. So
Mm.
I was like paying people to do my homework. I would like work out deals with like certain students to like help me cheat on a test or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna try anymore because I just like don't want to feel dumb. And at home, like my mom, and this makes her sound so bad. She's not bad, I swear. Like we have a good relationship now, but she would get so frustrated if I didn't get something right. She'd be like, "You're an idiot. You're not going to amount to anything. Like I can't believe you don't understand this." Like she just had no patience because she's really smart and she just didn't. She's
What did
not a
she
good
do
teacher.
for?
She's retired now, but growing up, she worked for a bank, and so
Okay.
she's just really, yeah, she's just really smart. She's a quick reader. She's a quick learner, and I think
Mm.
she just didn't have the patience to like teach, and she'd get frustrated. But like in therapy, I've had a lot of therapy. Like looking back, it really like affected me as an adult. Some ways in bad, some ways in good. To where I feel like on one hand, like I had to retrain the way I think because I was always told, that I'm an idiot, that I'm not going to amount to anything, that, all these things from my ex-boyfriend, from my mom, like, and so it was hard to like retrain myself to like, to think differently, that I'm not those things, that I'm not what, because she just said it out of frustration and all of this. But then also, like you were saying in one of your videos, that you feel like the way your parents raised you helped you to have empathy and you can relate to a lot of different people. And I think that that's helped me too, because I've had so many different things happen that I wouldn't change anything because right now, like I just love the person that I am. And I know you had said the same thing, like, and I think a lot of that has to do with the way that we were raised. And it looks like you have a good relationship with your dad. I have a great relationship with my parents now, but it took a lot of therapy and a lot of help and a lot of years, and like,
Mm.
and we're great. We're in a great place now. But like I heard you and I'm like, oh, like, and that might be like where the comedy comes from, because you're so good. And I feel like a lot of that talent like comes from somewhere, from the past.
Yeah, for the longest time, like I don't think any kids want to, I mean, especially growing into an adult as a kid, you don't ever want to just blame your parents. But a lot of the times you're like, well, not everybody always think about their past life and try to think about their personality. I think a lot of people just do things and then they don't really go, oh man, is it my parents? But and some do. And I think for people who thinks a lot and thinks more about their life and why they are as a person, would want to just find answers and be like, why am I the way I am? And why am I always sad? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Yep.
I think, yeah, just from that, it was really hard because I didn't live with my parents until fifth grade. They will come and have dinner or like on the weekend sometimes. And so I only really lived with my parents for maybe 4 or 5 years total. And it's because they're trying to work and, and provide, like, if they didn't do that, maybe we wouldn't be in the US by now, like maybe we
Mm.
would still be struggling, in Taiwan. So, if somebody were to choose, would you be like, hey, would you want like would you want to see your parents all the time and then stay in Taiwan, or would you want them to not be there, most of the time, and but then have a better, so I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. I think people who, that need figure out what they like, the whys, and then maybe they'll be happier if they're more cerebral type of person.
Mm-hmm.
So but a lot of stand-up is stem from I was just like you. Like I mean, you heard it in the small clips that I did on Instagram. I gave up on myself, like in school, and it's just because like I tried really hard and it was never good enough. So I was like, why am I trying anyways? Like, if it doesn't matter what grade I get, it doesn't matter if I got a C or a D plus or like an F. It doesn't matter. It was just never good enough. I mean, I never went to B or A, so I don't know if they will be happy then, but I don't think so. But regardless, I was never good enough. So I just said, fuck it. I'm like, why would I try if the teachers and my parents, like, nobody think I'm good enough? I'm just gonna like, who cares? And I enjoyed being kicked out of class. So it seems like, yeah, that's what it is.
Did you have a lot of friends in school?
I always had good friends, but they're also failing everything.
Yeah.
So we have a lot in common. And I smoked weed for the first time when I was 14, and I got really into it, and I got really into weed, and I really into ecstasy, and then I got into I started drinking then too, and then I did some illegal stuff to get money.
Mm.
I can't say it. It's crime. It's crime.
You heard it here, people. I'm just kidding.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Did you also do like bad stuff, like do drugs and stuff like that?
No, that's so funny because I didn't. It's weird because when it came to school, I always knew I wanted to like do photography or acting, or I wanted to do something that in my mind, like, school didn't matter because I want to be creative.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that. And so I just wasn't interested. I just did what I had to do to like get out. And I knew I didn't like give up on myself in that way, but I just knew that like I didn't care about what they were teaching. Then when it came to being social, like I did have a few close friends, but they were all actually really smart and like got straight A's, which is why I was able to like cheat a lot and like, have them help me out. And they were like the popular kids. And I would say that I was like I wasn't that popular, but I had this like group of girls that were, and I was like no boy like cared about me, but like they loved all my friends, and I just kind of somehow snuck in there. And
oh my God, but how sad were you though?
Well, that's the thing. And then I find this older kid that lived down the street. He was 19, I was 16. And that was like my first real relationship. And he was on drugs and sold drugs, I found out later, and was like always getting arrested and was abusing me. And I was scared of him. So I didn't know how to tell anybody what I was going through. That's when I started drinking a lot. But to me, I was like scared of doing drugs. Like I didn't, because, and this is probably a huge reason why. So I was in a car accident when I was 8, which I've talked about on here before. We were hit by a drunk driver. The impact was 140 miles an hour and we hit head on. And in the hospital, they gave me a morphine drip. And at 8 years old, like, I don't know how they didn't put a limit on this or what, but I just kept pressing it and pressing it. And to this day, I remember the feeling of morphine, like coming through my veins, and it was amazing. And I just kept hitting that button and I overdosed on it. And I just remember like coming off of it, they had to strap my legs and my arms to the bed, and I like couldn't stop moving them. Like I had no control over my body. And that scared me from doing any drug, because I always had that memory. So when someone was doing drugs, like even back then, like weed wasn't as, I mean, people did it, but it wasn't legal. I was scared because I'm like, why isn't it legal? People would say, oh, it's not a big deal. But back then to me, I was like, it's a drug. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing weed. I'm not doing ecstasy. So I hung around a lot of people that did, but I didn't do anything but drink. So to me, drinking was like more normal and like
Right.
not illegal, except I was like 16. But yeah, so I drank a lot, but then it got a little out of hand where I was just constantly trying to drink because I was so depressed all the time, and it was just easy to get. I had older friends and stuff, and so it became a
So
little bit
I
of a problem.
also had a lot of older friends because I feel like because I just always wanted to be cool because younger friends they can't buy alcohol, they're not doing as much drugs, and they're not as I don't know. It just seems like because it just seems like when you're in like middle school or high school, all you want to be is to be older and is to be more mature. And I'm like, I'm just gonna hang out with the mature people. But
Yeah.
then I was like, right?
Yeah, and I just felt like I related to older people. Like, and I
Yeah.
still do. My friends, I'm 34, all my friends are in their 50s or 60s.
Uh,
I rarely have anyone that's my age. When I think of like guys that I've dated in serious relationships, most of them have been a little older than me, like in their early 40s. And so like recently. And so I think I've always felt, and I don't know if that has something to do with the fact, but I don't know, like even when I was a kid, I like a little kid, like 5, 6, 7 years old, I have memories of I would rather hang out with the teachers than I would the students because I felt like my peers, because I just felt like I couldn't relate to them. And maybe it has something to do with the accident I was in and being around adults at that time for so long. I don't know what it was, but I just felt like I knew I wasn't very good at school because I didn't care about any of that stuff. Like it wasn't until later I started getting interested in history, and like I almost like learned more after school than I did
mhm,
actually in school because I actually started to care. But
mhm.
but in that time, I just knew I wanted to be creative. I knew that like I people my age I felt were just so immature, and I felt so like just a like an old soul in a way. And I grew
Yeah.
up watching old black and white movies with my grandma, and like I just felt like I was more mature than everybody. So I would look at people my age and I'm like, you're an idiot. I don't and I still feel that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what it is,
My
but
mom is the exact same way. And I know that it doesn't, she seriously is that she didn't have any friends because of that. She just thought like these people are idiots. And I'm like, Mom,
well,
I'm
she
like,
went
Mom,
through a
you're an
lot
idiot too,
too.
though.
She went through a lot though,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
she did go through a lot. And but I know this doesn't it doesn't seem like it because I know I'm such a goofy fuck, but it, I did feel that because like I think I did everything younger. So then now, but still I have so many insecurities where like maybe it's the LA thing because when I see people, I go, especially if they have status like comics or whatever, or like people that are really smart, or because sometimes I'll go on Instagram and then I'll see women or even dudes, but most women that I see that will post like a we like a really unique olden movie, and then they'll like overlay with the like a really mute like this music that is old as well, and then it would just be that in a story. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Or or like a lady that is like Marilyn Monroe, something like that, and then like it would like be like a really artsy shot, and I'm like, what did I? That's it's not food, it's not ice cream because I like ice cream. I'm like, what did I just see for 5 seconds? But the thing is, like, when I see that, I'm like, oh man, like, is she really artsy? I feel like she's really cool because then I'll see their photos, and then it will be like some like cool shot. Like, did you see my face? No, I'm hiding behind a wall, but also you see half of it. I'm hot, kind of shot. And then I go, oh man, but they're so fucking cool. But then, so I'll get insecure because I'm like, man, why am I not? cool. Like, or like, why do I not know something they do? You know what I mean? But then on the others, because I'm not cool in their eyes for sure, because they're, hipster or like really like this. I don't know how to say it. I'm not hating. I'm just saying like it's so different. But then but I'm from Taiwan. They probably like people who do that probably don't respect it, and people probably don't respect the different cultures, and like people like that might not. They're probably maybe into like literature or other things, but they might not be the. And I have to constantly, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is like I have to constantly remind myself to be like, hey, it's okay to be different, and the things that you're into, they're not into, and it's just different. But the thing is, I am open minded to know what their thing is. Like I want to ask them. I just never gotten the chance. So back what you were saying about being that old soul, sometimes I do feel that way because I feel like, man, like these things I don't get it, but it seems like it's cool and people do it.
Yeah. No, I think that
Wait, hold on. Before you say the thing, sorry to interrupt you because you're the host.
No worries.
But I feel like I have a little power just to interrupt you right now.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm kidding. But what's your ethnic background?
Mostly Italian, Irish.
Oh, okay.
But I'm kind of a mutt. Like my dad is mostly Italian. My mom is kind of a huge mix of everything. And my dad is from LA originally. My mom is from Oklahoma, and like basically just white, but like she did her like DNA thing, and she's just a huge mix where my dad is mostly just Italian. So
okay.
I want to do it because I really don't know. 100%.
You grew up where though?
Well, I grew up in Southern California, but near San Diego. Where did you grow up?
Wait, do we touch? So I grew up 15 years I was in Taiwan, and then 15 years in the US. So I'm 30 now, and when I came to the US is mostly in California. So I was in Carlsbad, San Diego, Orange County, and then now LA for 3 years. So but I didn't want to go on a tangent if you were gonna say something, and then
yeah. I was just gonna say like I completely get like moving to LA and seeing these people. Like, first of all, I think that society has definitely told us, right, like what's cool and what's not, what's successful and what's not. And so I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday that we think that like the types of women I think you're probably talking about, or even like some men, like we were kind of trained to look at certain types of people and lifestyles, like the rich and famous, the Kardashians, like that type of these influencers on Instagram, as like they're successful, they have it all. And I was very intimidated moving here and working at Equinox. It's like this beautiful gym and all these people are just so beautiful, and I'm from a small town, that might as well be like the Midwest. I mean, I grew up with like farms and cows and orange groves, and it's only 2 hours away from here, but totally different vibe. And so moving here, I felt with my background as like, just like not feeling enough, not feeling attracted, getting, beat by this ex-boyfriend and like cheated on and all this. Like, I just felt like
does it hurt? Does it still hurt with the boyfriend things, the ex-boyfriend things?
No, I've done so much work that it really hasn't, it doesn't hurt anymore. I will say that there are certain things that trigger me every once in a while that I don't realize until it happens. I'm like, oh, and it's like a flashback where I'm like, oh no, you can't say that to me. You can't do that to me, because it is like a little trigger, but majority of the time I'm fine.
Gotcha.
But yeah, moving here and seeing like all of that was very intimidating. And so like you, I kind of felt like, oh, they're not going to like me or what. But then once I started doing the work and reading these books, like I read the 4 agreements, and that was...
I read it. I read 2. I had 2 agreements. That's another book.
2 agreements?
Half of what you read.
Okay.
It's by another person.
Okay.
Okay, no, I didn't read it, but I think I did read it. Tuesdays with Maury. There's another one.
Yeah,
mine's Wednesdays. Mine's Wednesdays with Tim. It's a similar book, but it's only 10 pages. No, no, but go ahead. Sorry. So you read the books. Can you? I wish
Yes.
I wish that you read it, and then I just wish
You
that I know
don't
it. So
know it. You
yeah, I
can
don't
still
want
do
it
it. You're
because so
good.
many words. Damn it.
Well,
But
I
you said
know,
you
I
weren't
know,
good in
I know.
school. But what
But
got you to like? What you said you weren't good in school, but what got you to like? Oh, you will sit down and read. And then
well,
get
yeah,
into
I
it.
think what it is like when I'm someone who from a really young age, when I feel like this is just my personality. Talked about this before on here. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing, but when I'm told to do something,
Yeah,
I will do the opposite. I'm just by nature,
yeah.
like I will have in my mind, like, I'm going to clean my room today. And then my mom, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. It's a mess. I'm going to clean it. And then my mom would come in and say, you're not going anywhere till this room is clean. I'm like, well, I'm not cleaning my room today. I'm not doing
Mm,
that. And I would like rebel. And that's how I've always been and still
yeah.
catch myself being that way. And so I think when I had to do it for school, I rebelled and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. But as I got older, I really wanted to learn. I wanted to educate myself. So then I started to like read different books, and I'd hear about a book, or someone would say, "Oh, have you read this?" Oh, and I wanted to like know what they were talking
Mhm.
about. So I started reading because I was interested in learning. And
Yeah.
in this book, it was very eye-opening in a way where it says like you can't, like, the way that people treat you is not about you at all. It's about them. So then when I was thinking about my mom getting upset at me and hitting me sometimes and all that, like, she was upset because my dad and her didn't really have a very good relationship back then. It's better now, but and he's like cheated and he left, and there were some things that he did, and she was so angry and she wasn't feeling good enough. She started gaining weight and she wasn't happy with herself, so she projected on me like, you're not going to amount to anything, you're not, because that's how she was feeling. And so that's how it is, I think, with everybody. Like, and then when you think that they're assuming something about you, that's really like you're
Your own
assuming,
insecurities.
yeah, and they're probably not thinking that at all. So I've
Yeah.
really tried hard to like not assume that someone's thinking something about me. And if someone does something to me, it's not me, it's like their stuff, it's their
It
insecurities. And
it's so
so
hard though, even
it's
as an
so
adult.
hard, it's
Even
so
as an
hard.
adult, especially a kid, you don't even know like this thought process even existed. Like, oh, it's them. Whenever people say to you, you're like, oh, it's definitely me. Because they point at the fingers in my face and go, you are ugly. And why'd you shit your pants today? And I'm like, I did shit my pants. I do smell a little bit. So,
But what's funny about you is like I meet you and I feel like you had this like, what's funny is when I first met you, I was like, oh, he's funny and he's got this confidence. And then there was a moment where you got a call from, I'm not going to say names, but you got a call. We
yeah.
were at a comedy club and you got a call from another comedy club. And they were like, if you're over there, you're not going to be here anymore. And you need to get here right now. And you were really like nervous because you didn't want to upset them and you were going to leave and go there. And I had like this moment of like, oh, he's not as, and I don't mean this, I'm just saying my observation is, um, you're a people pleaser, which is nothing wrong with that.
I'm not a fucking
But
people pleaser. Get off
you
my podcast.
you wanted to, you were a people pleaser, which is great.
I
But
am a people
but in
pleaser.
my mind, they were disrespecting you and not really realizing your value, because I think you have a lot of value. And for them to kind of give you that ultimatum, I was expecting you to be like, fuck you. Like, I'll go there when I want to go there, and like I can go to any comedy club I want. And you were really nervous about it, and I thought, I wish he saw what I saw, because you are hilarious. And I think that you have like a huge, like, I've been in this like industry, not that I'm a comic, but I've seen so many comics from start to where they are now, and I've called like everybody, like they're gonna be big, and now they've got like their Netflix specials and all this, and I see you and I'm like, he's so good. Why is he letting this person like like upset him because you have so much talent. And if I were you, I'd be
Mom,
like, okay, fuck
mom.
you. Just go. Then I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
You're lost. Bye.
Wait,
Like that's how I wanted you to handle that situation.
you thought I was confident when we met?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, that's so crazy because I'm like that. Every time, I'm not exaggerating, every time I'm out, I feel insecure always. And I just want everybody to like, not like me, just at least, okay. Do you remember the girl that's a comic? Do you remember that? And then,
Yes. Yeah.
okay, that was the first time that I met her. I didn't know her, but she was not nice. I don't like her.
She wasn't very friendly.
She was, I didn't know.
She was also really scared of COVID, and not everybody was wearing masks. And I think she just wanted to sit in her corner with her mask and like chill out because I think she was a little nervous that not everybody was wearing a mask.
Okay, yeah, maybe that was the thing. I don't know, but she said some stuff, I don't want to get into it. But wait, okay. So me, like always, when I don't really like being out, and I'm not confident. I'm not confident. That's the thing because, but I want to be, and then sometimes you're like, and then it's a constant reminder of always like, just be you, man. Because whether or not people like you, you deserve to be happy, and you could choose to be happy. You could not deserve, but you could choose to be happy. And why would you always want to live, be in fear every time you go out? And why? Yeah, because stand-ups always, everybody has doubts about themselves and being not confident. And there's a lot of like Instagram people that's like, you just gotta believe in yourself. It's like, yeah, but what if I don't believe in myself? How do I believe in myself if I don't believe in myself? And they just go, you just gotta believe. It's
Well,
like,
you have to find your I think you just, in order to like kind of believe in yourself and get that confidence, you have to find your value. And it doesn't matter if everybody else sees it,
this,
like you have to see it.
yeah, and I
And
try
that's
to.
the
I
struggle.
I
And
try to find the value, but it's been a hard. It's been a because this is what I do, and like all the time, I'm always really impressed with people that are confident because, and I think North American culture are just more taught to growing up like to be more confident. Obviously, not always. Like you know, not everybody, but I'm saying like as a culture because every time I see somebody confident, I'm like, how do they do that? And then because to me, it's always like you're never good enough because it's like, okay, for example, if you're the class president, okay, you're a class president, then there is the president of that grade, and then as a student, and then if you're the president of the grade level, then now you're not the president of the school, you're not the principal of the school, and even if you're principal of the school, you're not the governor. You could be the governor, you're not the you know do you know what I'm saying? Like there's
yeah,
always somebody, to me, there's always somebody better. And then I have to remind myself, like, oh, but you don't have, like, would you trade your life? Like that's what I always, how I try to remind myself, like, if would you have that person's life? Like, would you want to be Elon Musk and be the most wealthy person, but have his brain and have his life and have his family? The answer is always no to everybody. Like you wouldn't want to trade your life with anybody because you do like, uh, maybe not everybody's in this situation, but to me, it's always no. But I still get jealous of, sometimes I always have to remind myself like that confidence thing
hmm
is I never understood how people could just walk around confident like they are the shit when
right.
you know what I mean, like
Well,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that I know exactly what you mean. I think for me, training for the last 10 years, a lot of high profiled, successful people, that has shifted the way I see success and confidence because I get to see like the real them and the inside, the home. And I will tell you that like 90% of the most successful people that I've trained that are millionaires, if not billionaires, are miserable, and they have awful family life, and they seem to have it all together, but they are miserable. And you know what's really depressing for them is they have made it what like the American dream, that is what everybody says. Like, they've got their helicopters and their jets and their multi-million-dollar homes in the hills and like all of this, and they're miserable. And that's, to me, worse than like struggling to make it or be, you know, the American dream, because at least you have this like, I'm happy and I have this hope for the future. But then when you get there and you're still not happy, that's a problem. And where do you go from there? And so I've seen that so many times, and I've seen that people are not actually confident at all. And they just put this persona on. And so I have learned that I personally do better when I don't look at the American dream as success. I look at like, am I happy with who I am today? Am I happy with my pillars of life, my health, my spirituality, my family, my friends, my financial situation? Like, am I happy? And if not, then I need to work on that, because I know that that's success for me. But like today I woke up and I felt good, and I can move my body and work out, and I, you know, like feel good physically, and I can say that I have a great relationship with my friends and my family, and I have this dog, and I live in this house. I'm like, you know, I don't have to worry. I'm not rich by any means, but I don't have to worry about paying my bills. I'm not stressed about it. I have money in the bank. And so
But
for
by the
me,
way,
I'm like,
you would never
success.
sponsor me.
I will sponsor you. If you'll wear my leggings on stage, I will be more than happy to
I'm trying to
sponsor
go
you.
against your rebel personality. You will never sponsor me. I would never want to be sponsored by you.
That's not what you said earlier.
No, nobody knows that. Nobody knows what I said.
No, but
Uh,
I think it's important to like retrain what we think is success. And I think that that's what gives, at least me, confidence, is knowing that I know some of the most like quote unquote successful people, where people will look from the outside and say, oh my God, I'm so jealous of their life. But I know the truth is they're
what are,
miserable. And
what do they
so,
struggle with mostly? Like, I mean, I know it's case by case, but what are some things that you saw that they were struggling with, that, because I'm curious, like what it would be like at that level
yeah.
when they have everything.
I've seen different things where, so I've had certain clients that like one spouse wanted to have kids, the other didn't. They just want to focus on their career. And now they've got a super successful career, and they have like everything money could buy, but they're kind of lonely and they wish they would have had kids and it's too late, or, you know, and then one blames the other one, and they just kind of hold this like almost like hate or anger towards each other. And then they're just constantly trying to fight all the time because they're not really resolving the problem. And then I've had clients where they just really do have low self-esteem, even though they have everything money could buy. They just, something in their childhood or whatever that they haven't taken care of, so they're trying to look for attention, and they cheat a lot. And then the other spouse gets upset because there's a lot of cheating going on, and then they go and try to get back at them or whatever it is. So a lot of people that I've like worked with, that people on the outside would see they have this perfect family life, or they have this, you know, they have everything, they're so successful. They're some of the most sad, lonely people that I've ever met. And
Mm.
then I have, you know, some friends and family that have, like, people wouldn't look at them and go, oh, you have it all, but they're so happy. And to me,
Mm.
like, that's success. And so I think for me, that confidence, I used to not be confident at all. When I first moved here, I was so insecure. And I think that what switched for me is, first of all, doing the work on myself, like the why. Why do I do this? Why do I choose men that are like that? Why do I allow this to happen to me? Why am I not successful? Or like, why am I not, confident in myself? And once I did the work on myself, like, oh, it's because my mom would say this to me, or this would happen to me, or whatever, or I did this to myself. And I started to really like pick it apart and adjust those situations. That helped. And then to see like the people that I've worked with and realize they're at the top of the mountain and they're still not happy. I'm like, man, like they didn't do the work. They just like, they worked to financially be in that situation, but they didn't do the inside work and they're miserable. So I just learned I really need to do the work on myself to where if this was it, if this is my life, I want to be happy today because there's no guarantee that we have tomorrow. And I want to make sure that I'm not thinking, oh, I'm going to be happy when I'm married. I'm going to be happy when I have kids. I'm going to be happy when I've hit $1 million in the bank. Like, I want to be happy now with what I have. And I think that that is so important for your confidence. Because if you could wake up every day going, yeah, I'm so happy with where I am today, what I have today, I'm grateful. That's like, to me, that's what gives me confidence. And I look at other people, no matter what they have that I don't, I'm like, I don't know their situation. I don't want to compare myself to them because they could be miserable, or maybe
But
they're happy.
I wonder if they didn't have that like empty hole that they wanted to fill. I wonder if they will be as successful. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like my, sometimes I do think like that. I'm like, man, if I'm always happy and content. Obviously, you could still work hard, but I feel like in certain situations, you pull like this emotion, this I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like when somebody is really desperate, and like really need something, like want it so bad, and but even if it's in vain, but because they want it so bad to chase that money or fame, which whatever it is, or uh, you know, I wonder if they didn't have that, they were just happy with content with what they have. I'm sort of in that transition because like I'm transiting because for like the past 8 years of my stand-up, I was so desperate and wanted so bad, but because of the pandemic, it gave all of us everyone a year to think about their life, and I find myself to work less hard, even though I still have the insecurities. So, but what you were saying about people, reaching a certain level and they're still not happy. I just wondered if they were happy, if they would go as far as they would have.
I mean, there's probably something to that. I mean, you think of comedy, like I said, like like some of the best comics have a really dark past, or they have something that they're dealing with, and they might not be as funny if they didn't like have something they were dealing with. And
Yeah, I don't know.
you
I don't
know
know
what I
if that's
mean?
true, but what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I think that, I mean, it's possible both ways, right? Like, I know some comics that had a great childhood and they're hilarious. And then I
You
had,
don't know that.
no, I do. Like, I've
Okay.
like friends that I have that I've like
Uh,
met, and I'm like, okay, every comic is fucked up. So how was your childhood? And they're like, no, actually, I had a really good childhood, and I
yeah,
have a great relationship with my family. I'm like, oh, okay. But then I've met some that are like, yeah, I mean, this comes from a lot of trauma. And I
yeah.
think it just, like, I think it could be either one. But
I would
um,
like to know after the pod, you tell me which is this comedian.
that had a
The
really good life.
happiest, funniest comedian. I've never met this person.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you have met him.
I gotta go drink their
Um,
blood because I gotta be that guy. I gotta be that guy or girl.
but no, I do think that it drives you. I mean, like when I first moved to LA, I was, in a bad place, like mentally, and I didn't feel great physically, and financially I had nothing, and I lived in my car, and that drove me to be more successful because I wanted so much more for myself. And
Yeah.
so it did give me this huge push to like be better and to work on myself and to get out of my car and be able to live, independently. And so I do think that drives you. But then I also like now I would say I'm in a really good place, but I still have that drive to get to the next level that I want to be at.
What's your 1 year goal and your 5 year goal
So I don't,
in your career slash hobby? Like your career and your hobby, whatever hobby that you like and whatever career,
yeah,
you know.
I wouldn't say I have like I set like time limit goals. I don't
Mhm.
know if that's good or bad, but I do have a goal of writing a book, and I'm actually like talking to a couple of publishers right now that my clients hooked me up with. And so I'm figuring out like a book deal to write a book about my life. Ideally, I would love for that to be a movie one day or a TV show. And so I have these ideas, and I really want that to happen. And so I'm in the works for that. And then I also have created a couple of different TV shows that I was pitching before COVID, and I want to start pitching them again. And so I have like those goals, but I just wake up every day and I hustle. Like I've been up since 5 this morning. I'm not done till like 8 o'clock tonight.
Mhm.
And that's how I am every day. Just go, go, go. And before you know it, I've like accomplished so much in a month and 6 months and a year. But I don't really set like, I feel like everything kind of works out in the timing it's supposed to. So even
Mhm.
if I made those plans, I feel like it's like, well, it wasn't time for that. And I don't want to be like forcing
Forcing it.
something
Mhm.
when it's not the time, but I do have a picture of what I want my life to be. And I want to create this book, and I think it will help people. And I think it will hopefully make people feel like they're not weird or alone, or that no one understands them. I feel like I could relate to a lot of different people. And so I think it's important for me to put this book out, and hopefully it goes somewhere else with it. And I have this like dream in the next few years of owning, like, my big goal to like live on the beach, have a beach house. And I would love if the right person came to like get married, which I know you're married. We haven't even talked about that. But I would love for that person to come along, and I would love kids, but I'm also like, I'm 34, and I would never like just get married or have kids to do it. So I've come to like a place where if that doesn't happen, I'm okay. I have my dog, I'm happy. But ideally, yeah, everybody wants love. And so if I had like my beach house with my dream man and a kid, like I wouldn't be mad about it.
Who's your dream man?
My God, my dream man.
What like
Like
describe your
celebrity.
dream man?
Oh, okay. Well, I love a man. This is like my problem dating in LA, because I am into creative men. I've dated like rock stars and pop stars and stuff. And so I've dated like people in the music industry. I've dated actors, directors, writers. I like the creative
You just
side
start
of
going down the list.
somebody.
You're like painters, electricians, plumbers. I would dated this guy at Walmart, also Target because I moved to LA. I got to be bougie, so
Oh,
Target,
no.
Target. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
I've dated like creative people, and that's important to me because I like people that like go after what they are passionate about and don't just settle for like, not that there's anything wrong with this, but for me, like someone that just works like a 9 to 5 to pay the bills and they're miserable every day. Like I don't want to come home to that. Like I want to come home to someone who creates and is passionate, but I find that like along with that comes a lot of narcissism sometimes, and so that's
Mm.
like where I struggle with that. But my ideal guy would be someone that does what they're passionate about, and that takes care of their body, and they don't have to be as like crazy into fitness as I am, but somebody that like cares about their body and working out and what goes into their body, and someone that's just like happy and spiritual in some way, and is just like could be like my best friend and someone that I respect enough to go to for advice about something. And so that's like really, I guess, like what I'm looking for is
I'm
somebody
just
that could like be my best friend.
Yeah, I'm just really happy that you are okay with being alone and with your dog.
Oh yeah, thank
I
you.
just I'm just joking.
No, I am. I am totally happy with that
I know,
though.
I know, but
But like,
I
it's
was
funny
kidding.
because it's funny,
Jesus,
but it took me a long
Jesus,
time to
you
get
gotta play back
there.
into your own face. I was like, I'm just happy you could, happy with being you're like, oh yeah,
I am though. Like, I'm totally happy with
yeah,
that. But like I said, like
yeah,
everybody wants
for
to be
sure,
loved,
for
which
sure.
now we need to get into this. So when did you meet your wife
Yeah.
and
So
how?
I was gonna say for sure, like, uh, well, so me and my wife, we've been together for 14 years.
Oh my God, since you like moved out here, basically.
Oh, well, she was born in Denver, but she's of Korean descent.
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing is, for sure, I love her to death. Well, of course, every couple has, um, like problems.
Yeah,
That she is
of
my best
course.
friend, and I'm really thankful and lucky that uh, you said because I don't know if I'm narcissistic. Probably am. I probably am. I'm narcissistic, but also very insecure. I think you could have both. Can you have both? I'm all fucking not sure myself. Can you have both? I'm a fucking king. Am I a king? No, I don't know what I'm saying most of the time, but I am really lucky to have my wife because she knew me even when I was doing drugs and a drunk and also like smoking weed and just a dum dum. So and then she's like a more like a calm person. We met at a birthday party in high school, and I was like one night I just chugged a whole bottle of red wine, which I'd never done, and she said that I was talking to her about politics, which I never do. I don't know anything about it, and I'm fucking 17. What do I know? She said I was talking about. I was like, what? That's stupid because I would never talk about politics. I know nothing about it. But anyways, uh, yeah, and then in the beginning it was like we broke up literally 300 times. I'm not exaggerating that number because in the morning we'll be like, "What? Fuck you then," and then at night one of us will be like, "All right, well, what are you doing?" But this went on for like 4 or 5 years, and even like after the fifth year, like we would break up. This one time, I remember so I went to visit her at her college, and I have packed a bag and because it was like spring break or whatever, and I was in my college that I was about to drop out in a year. But I went there and we were hanging out, and then we got in a fight so bad, and she started throwing my clothes like. She's not a bad person, I just want to say that, but she was like throwing my shit everywhere. She's like, "Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out of here!" Right? And I was
Yeah.
like, "All right." So I start folding my clothes like back into my luggage to get out, right? And I was folding it, and every time like I would fold 4 or 5 pieces of clothing, she would take it and fucking throw it out again. I'm like, I'm trying to get the fuck out, but every time I fold my clothes, you fuck it up. It's hindering for me to get the fuck out. But
She didn't really want you to go. She wanted you to
yes,
fight.
yeah. So that's the thing. So like at the end, she's like, "Don't fucking go." And then, but I did the same thing though too. Like sometimes I'll be like, "You get the fuck out," but then I'll be like, "I'm sorry," but but yeah. But now, but relationship is always work. You know this. Like it doesn't matter if it's a friendship with family or with friends. It's if you don't talk to your family, you're gonna lose the connection. Family is always family, yes, but the intimacy with any human being, it takes time and effort
Mhm.
with anybody, and
Mhm.
you can't just expect your family or any friend or your partner to just be there whenever you come. Like you have to put in the work. And I don't know why I'm telling you this, but basically, I need marriage counseling. No, but there's like a couple there's problems, but I don't want to, say it on the thing. But I can tell you later. But yeah, it's work. I don't know why I told you, but maybe it was because I asked you about your man, and then you described a perfect man. I was like, I want to meet this man too. So there's two men I want to meet. I want to meet your perfect. the man that it's in your imagination, and also the
The
comedian
happy
who's
comedian.
happy and also very successful. I gotta be both of those. You know, a lot of people that I really want to meet. We need to be friends. We need to
Yeah.
be.
We'll be
I need to
friends.
get close to you, but not to have a
We'll
friendship,
be
but just
friends.
to get your resources.
Yeah, of course. Of course. This is LA. I wouldn't
No, yeah,
expect any different.
yeah,
No, no, marriage is a lot of work. I do know a couple of very happy couples, and they
yeah.
will even say, like, we are the happiest couple we know, and it is a lot of work. Like, and we
Mm,
have a good marriage, but they'll admit, like, it's just really hard. You're taking two different people, two different personalities, and then when you guys meet in high school, you don't really know who you are
exactly.
and you're trying to figure it out. And so when you're growing, you're either going to grow together or you're going to grow apart. And to keep yourselves growing together is so
This is
much
how we do it.
work.
We grow like this, and we go, fucking god damn it, shit, fucking fuck you. That's
There's someone that this actor that I used to see at the gym all the time, and his wife is an actress as well. And I got in this conversation about, like, is marriage really tough when you're both so successful and traveling all the time and they got kids? And he's like, this is how I view marriage. He was like, it's just a big circle, right? It's a cycle. And he was like, you build each other up and you create life and whatever you're creating together, and you're strong just so you can tear each other apart and hate each other and hurt each other, and then you just build back up stronger. And it's like a muscle, he's like, you tear it apart but then it grows back stronger, and then you just do it again. You fuck up and you destroy each other, and then you build. And he was like, and that's marriage. It's just this loop of like loving each other and creating and destroying, and then creating and destroying, and that is life. Like, that is marriage. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, sounds great but also miserable. Thank you.
yeah. Or you could just lie the whole time.
Is that what you do?
What? No, that's not what we do in this house. No, no, no.
Aw.
Yeah,
Well,
but yeah, with anything, I agree with you. Is working, and then that's a really good way to describe it, like a muscle that if it wouldn't grow stronger if you don't tear each other apart and build it back up.
it's so
You see?
true. It really is true. So last thing I want to ask is, what is your goal for the future? Like, you're
Excuse me,
working
this
on
is
all
my
this
podcast. I
stuff
asked you
and
what is your goal, and you have answered your goal. This is my podcast. My goal. I'm honestly, you briefly touched on it, being like, I want to be happy now. And back, I mean, I have certain things that I want to do, but I focus on loving being a stand-up. I want to focus my energy on that, and just because that truly makes me happy is when I do new bits and know that some people enjoy it, and I want more people to enjoy it. So however I do that, I'm trying to figure it out. But in the process, I just want to make sure that I keep on reminding myself why I started stand-up in the first place, even though it's not monetarily tangible or the way to success to just, enjoy being stand-up. But I do believe that because so far, however far I've gone in stand-up is by really just focusing on writing bits and getting better as a stand-up, and sucking whoever's dick that would let me suck it. No, but I also there's a part of it though that you gotta go network, but I don't like doing network things though. I like to just fuck around most of that. Like, okay, that show but okay, so my goal is that, and I just want, my ultimate goal is to have as many people that would come see me do stand up as possible. And however I could get there, I would do the things that I'll be okay with myself doing to get to where I want to be. That, like, I don't know, in the beginning when I started, I was like, I will do anything. I'll act, I'll do commercials. But now I'm like, well, I don't want to do that audition because I feel like is a waste of time, and I'm not into doing it. It doesn't make me happy to do 300 auditions and then get one and then be happy about that. And so I could show it to everybody. That shit doesn't really make me happy. So I would, however I could get there with the things that I'm okay with, to get to a place where, where people will come see me stand up. But that show that at the Venice compound with Ahmed Ahmed, Jason Rogers, Jason Collins, and Ron Drossel, and just now, I love them. And that's like one of the shows where I know most of the people. Like the only person Joe Bartnick, I knew of him and I saw him a couple times and he's cool too. But Bassam, you remember Bassam?
Yeah,
he's like
we just hung up the other day.
Fun and the surgeon. Yeah, it was just such a fun time. Honestly, most of the shows isn't like that. And you were there. And and so it was just a fun time. It's just a positive energy. So I like those shows I would love. But most of a lot of the times it isn't really like that because it's not, all like a goofy fun time with the people that and like to fuck around with. But I would like to do more of that, like with Will Burkhart, like my friend, and that's like, my goal to remember to, choose your friends and stuff like that. Hey, okay, before you ended and stuff like that, I just want to say that thank you for being supportive and give me some encouragement and also a different perspective, and at least for today. If tomorrow I'll remember, but maybe not. But today, I appreciate your positive energy and sharing with me your experience and spending your time, which is, I think, the most valuable thing. In having a conversation and having me on one of your projects, which is the podcast.
Thank you. And right back at you. I appreciate you taking the time, and I can't wait to see like what you do next. I really hope that you like find your confidence, because
I will find the ice cream in the freezer first. That's what I'm doing next. Find the confidence.
Do that, and then find the confidence after the ice cream, because I think that once you find that, and really like find that, I think there's no stopping you. You have the talent and you have the stage presence. And it's funny that you say you don't have a lot of confidence, because I just see so much of it when you're on stage, and maybe that's because it's your happy place. Yeah. But I have been watching comics for a long time, and I hope that I've encouraged you a little bit to know that like I see so much in you that I'm excited to see what you do. And I appreciate you coming on here.
I would never want you to be my manager. I would never want you to be my manager. You would
the other day you asked me to be your manager.
No, I didn't.
No, yes, you did.
I'm lying on your podcast.
You said, you're my manager, and will you sponsor me? Wear your leggings on stage.
I never said that. Stop lying on my podcast.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jason, for coming on, and I will see you soon. And tell everybody where they can check you out, your comedy.
Follow me on Jason. Who do I look? Do I look at the camera? Follow me on Jason Cheny. CHENY.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Morgan.
Have a good
day. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have separation anxiety, so I gotta leave first. Okay, bye.